hey guys, I was talking with Dr. Amr about the new law, and basically, with the new law, there's still PIP suits. There's just no attorney fees for PIP suits. And why does that matter to you as doctors? Well, if there's no attorney fees for PIP suits, there's a lot less people knocking on your doors saying, "Hey, I want PIP suits." You're going to have limited options. And on top of that, there's no attorney's fees, which means the attorneys might not want your case if it's not documented properly. If you don't have better documentation, they might not want your case. You might be owed $5,000, but if you have bad documentation, you might not get paid the $5,000 because there's no attorney's fees. So the insurance company can spend the time to say, "Hey, this guy's notes are garbage. Great doctor, horrible notes. It's not going to get you paid." So what I was talking with Dr. Amr about is that with the new law, I suspect that there will be some companies, not all, but some companies who will do more independent medical exams and more peer reviews. We call them peer reviews. The doctor doing the exam doesn't actually see the patient. They just do it based off of your notes. So one, if your notes are garbage, if they're not really good, you're going to be subject to a lot of that. But what I was talking specifically with Dr. Amr about is, hey, since you have a medical doctor who's doing these functional evaluations and also throwing in an EMC if it's warranted, I said, why don't you, if appropriate, refer the patient back, have the medical doctor refer the patient back to the chiropractor. And in the notes, okay, obviously, if it's appropriate, say, I am referring this patient back to, I'm referring this patient for further chiropractic care, including but not limited to, spinal manipulation, E-stim, hot packs, cold packs, whatever that medical doctor thinks. And I think that will help with the IMEs. Why? Why is this important, Abe? So, okay, there's no attorney's fees, but the law is the law. Only a chiropractor can cut off chiropractic PIP benefits, and only a medical doctor can cut off a medical doctor's benefits. So, for instance, let's say a chiropractor cuts off care for another chiropractor, okay? But that patient saw a medical doctor, and the medical doctor said in their notes, "I am referring this patient back to the chiropractor for spinal manipulation, E-stim, hot packs, whatever." That means the insurance company is going to have to hire a medical doctor to counter that medical doctor's opinion on it. Medical doctors are not cheap. Medical doctors minimum want $1,000 to do an IME minimum, and they don't like to do them. They'll do them one a month, maybe one a year or something like that. But they don't like to do them because one, they don't want lawsuits. They don't want to do depositions. And two, let's face it, medical doctors can open an office and make $1 million a year, just opening up an office and putting out, "Hey, I'm a doctor." So they don't want the $1,000 and filling out all this paperwork and maybe going to a deposition. So there's a lot less medical doctors who would do IMEs. There's 1 million chiropractors. Unfortunately, there's 1 million chiropractors who will do them, and they will do them for $300 or less sometimes. I know one guy does peer reviews, paper IMEs for $75 per. He told me, "Abe, I just change out the name, the date of loss, and everything else in my report stays the same, and I cut off benefits." So if you do this, I think one, the insurance company has a need to settle that case and or have another medical doctor cut off chiropractic care. So I think it's important. Dr. Amr said that in the functional evaluation test, they're going to include some information in there. I'll let him talk more specifically about that stuff. And, my other advice is to, utilize his services because I use them for my injury cases. It adds value to the settlement because of the documentation that's in those reports. I've gotten some good results for my clients because of that. So that's why we use him on our cases. So Dr. Amr, you want to take over, buddy?
Yeah, thank you very much, Abe.
Okay, I'll be here on mute if you need me. I'm here.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Anya, for setting this up. I'm just going to share my screen quickly here. So, as Abe said, when the new law came in, him and I, we were, talking about this new law and all the, how it's going to affect everyone. And we were talking about the IME cutoffs, as everybody expecting there's going to be more IME cutoffs. And the reason everybody believed there is going to be more IME cutoffs, as Abe said, I think in one of his emails, that he said there is no hammer anymore. If there is no hammer, because there is no attorney fees, it is not feasible to file PIP suits. Yeah, it's important. There is still PIP suits, but there is no attorney fees. So if you think like an insurance company now, IME doesn't have a hammer behind it, so they can do more IME cutoffs. And then it just happened at the same time that us as a company, National Functional Evaluations, we've been working in other states for over 20 years, and we have great success with IME cutoffs. And the reason we're having great success with IME cutoffs is like what Abe said, is about documentations. So, House Bill 837, the tort reform, is going to increase the IME cutoffs before you have the PIP suits. After, there is almost no feasible legal way for you. So the solution for the IME cutoffs, or how to rebuttal IME cutoff, and this is what we try to present to you today, is it's a two-pronged approach. One, objective improvement, and second is MD validation. So the first part is, let me move this here. So the first part is about objective improvement. I remember very well, I was in a conference maybe 10 years ago in Pennsylvania, and I remember one lawyer told me, like a little quiz, how do you beat an IME in one word? And that word was an improvement. If you show an improvement, you have a ground that there is further treatment is necessary. So the IME, from the insurance perspective, is patient doesn't need any more treatment. They're not getting any better. We're just going to cut them off. So if you have an objective improvement tool to show that the patient is getting better, you have a ground to stand on that the IME cutoff is not valid. The second part of it is the MD validation. And the MD validation actually in Florida is way stronger than other states, because as Abe said, the law here say that only an MD can cut off an MD, a chiropractor can cut off only a chiropractor. And then what happened here in Florida, as everybody know, you have to get an EMC anyway. So what we are, doing in these two sides is, the first side is the objective improvement. And some people here know about our service, some people don't. So our service is basically, it's a mobile service where we send you one of our doctors, and they create a baseline on the patient functional abilities. And it's an objective, legally defensible tool. That's why Abe used it for his cases. But then what comes with it is actually an EMC. And then when you create that baseline, you have something objective documenting the patient injuries. And then when you get another, or when the patient gets an IME cutoff letter, you can do the other test. And when you do the other test, now you can show that improvement, that the patient is getting better. And when the patient is getting better, and we document that with two things: one, objectively; second, with an MD validation. And when we say that the patient is getting better objectively, now we're giving you a solid ground. Even give your lawyer, if the lawyer decide to take the case and decide to negotiate with the insurance, we give them a better tool to convince the insurance companies that this IME cutoff is not valid because the patient is getting better. So this is like an example of our functional improvement and what we show in our reports. So this functional improvement, as you see here in the beginning, we have a patient where we show their functional losses objectively. And then in the second study, we show another functional abilities. You guys see my screen, right, Anya? Anya?
Sorry, say again?
You see my screen,
Yeah, we
right?
see it.
Okay.
We see it, yeah.
Yeah, because it's not showing in my laptop, actually. So it showed that objective improvement. So as you see here, like, for example, this patient in January have all these functional losses objectively. And then theoretically speaking, in January, that's when we give the AMC with it. So this patient was in an accident. We saw them. We created this functional report, and we're showing their functional losses, and we give an EMC with it based on the functional losses. And then 3-4 months later, or maybe within 60 days, you can do another functional testing, and now we're showing the difference. And the difference here is yeah, the patient get better, but also they still have some functional losses. They still need more care. So this is where it give you that ground to fight the IME cutoff. And this is actually, like, we ran some numbers in our reports, and is about 500 reports we did. And you see here, like, this is a correlation between the objective functional improvement and the subjective pain improvement. So as you see, patient pain is going down, but in the same time, objectively, there is a functional improvement. So as I said, it will show, and then it will show that functional improvement. It will create that narrative for you where it helped the patient fight the insurance company. You actually helping your patients fighting the insurance companies, and you get your treatment. The patient needed that treatment because it's showing all the improvement. So the other side of it is also the MD validation. As I said, we will send someone to your office. We'll send them in person. They will do the functional testing. And the functional testing is, as we said, it's a battery of tests. We'll send someone there. Actually, we have 2 patents on that study as well. So it is patented, legally defensible. It happened in your office. We do it there. It's about 20 to 30 minutes just with the patient, beside other things we have to do in the back end. But then we create this narrative report to you showing the functional losses. We're giving the AMC with it. And then when we come again, we'll create another report and we show the difference objectively. And, as Abe said, we're adding this MD validation part for your treatment. So we make it harder and harder for insurance company to do this IME cutoffs. So this is, what we are proposing here, and it's been having a great success in other states. I know, for example, Pennsylvania, because Pennsylvania was always my baby. We had about 85% success rate of IME cutoff reversals. So, and this has been a very successful tool because it's legally defensible. I'm going to leave here this information for you guys. It is our contact info, my office cell phone, my personal phone, and then we have 2 business development, Carolina and Crystal, one in South Florida, one in Central Florida. If you want to reach to any one of them or me personally, you feel free, and then we will, discuss more and chat more about this. So I know this is supposed to be a very short meeting. Anya said it's about 15, 20 minutes. So we're going to stick to that. So that's all what I have. So thank you very much, everyone. And I don't know if Abe like to add anything or Anya like to add anything.
I just want to just say that, Dr. Amr's company, they do a good job. The patients, it's very easy for them. They're good with the patients. I know that's a big problem when referring to a specialist. Some of the doctors are like, hey, what are you going to do with my patient? They always do a good job. And I do think that this will help save the doctors who are listening to this, save them money, because it makes, if there's no attorney's fees for me, I need you to make it easier for me to do my job. And if it's easier for me, I can get you paid faster. So if you have something in the notes from the doctor saying, hey, I refer back for chiropractic adjustments, hot pack, whatever. I'm on the way to a chiropractor right now. My back is on fire. I've been going to the gym. I'm turning 39 this year. I still think I'm in my early 20s. I'm not. So I'm going to a chiropractor right now. But anyways, that's all I wanted to say is to please feel free to reach out to me too, or Dr. Amr, if you guys have any questions.
Thank you very much, Abe. And thank you, Anya. Thank you, FCPA, for putting this together. And as we said, we're going to have it on a Zoom, is a quick, in a quick clip, and we will share it with everyone. Thank you very much, Anya. I have a question here. Somebody asking, do we charge fee? No, we bill the insurance carrier. We get paid about $400 for doing the functional study and including the AMC with it. So we bill the PIP. We don't bill the insurance. We don't bill you anything. We bill the PIP carrier directly. I see a question here from someone about a nurse practitioner. I don't know if Abe is still here. He can answer that question better than me, but I don't know if it's still apply. A nurse practitioner will have to cut off a nurse practitioner, or an MD will, or not. So I don't know. I think Abe left. So I don't know if he can answer that question. But my understanding is a chiro can only cut off a chiro, an MD can only cut off an MD. A nurse practitioner, I believe. I don't know. I don't really know the answer to that. So maybe you can reach out directly to Abe, and I'll reach out to him directly too to answer that. It's a good question. So if anybody else have any questions, feel free to type it on the chat and I'll answer these questions for you. On evaluation. So functional evaluation is actually a battery of tests. So we do range of motion, muscle strength, static lift, hand grip, and finger pinch. And then our patented software will generate a functional profile for the patient by comparing the patient results to the population norm. And this is our patent part, where it shows the objective functional losses for the patient. And then that's where you get the comparison to the baseline. And then the next study will compare both to the baseline and then to the second test, to the first test. So now you have this comparative results. And you're saying, I mean, one time per case or multiple? I don't understand what's your question. But if your question about multiple injuries, yes, we can do cervical and lumbar together in one study. We can do cervical and shoulder together in one study. So we will see the patient once for their baseline, and then we will see them again to repeat the same study again. So we don't have to see the patient multiple times for different injury. We can fit them in. We have profiles where we can do multiple injuries at one setting. So I believe that's your question. So I'm Dr. Yeah, so I believe that's your question. Dr. Escobar, he asked, will the report issue an impairment since the report based on functional losses? Yes, we issue an impairment rating with the report, so it will show also the impairment because it's based on functional losses. So the answer is yes. I have a question here. How far in advance do we need to schedule the assessment? It's a great question. So ideally, I like to tell the doctors, the first one, you like to do it as early as possible because you want to document as much injuries as possible. So you don't want to wait 2-3 months and then do a functional testing. You already get the patient better. So you're literally robbing your patient of showing and documenting these functional losses. So you like to do it early as possible. And then when you do the first one, you're going to get an EMC with it. And then the second one is when we say it's about maybe 30 to 60 days when you do the second one and to show that functional improvement. If your other question about logistics, how far in advance you need to schedule the assessment, we accommodate people, honestly, sometimes next day, sometimes in 2-3 days. We have a big team across the state. I literally have a text message on my phone for someone today at 5:30, and we are able to accommodate them at 5:30 today. So that's why, I have a great team in Carolina and Crystal, and we can accommodate you very fast. And Anya put Abe email address here. I believe this is the email for someone asks some questions for Abe. Also, I'd like to add that we have also we have different providers speak different languages. So sometimes we accommodate Creole, we accommodate Spanish, so we have different languages as well. So we try to accommodate as many languages as possible. What about if they already got an EMC from someone else? You can do just the functional testing. Obviously, you're going to get a big value. The functional testing by itself, that's what we are talking about to help you with the IME cutoff. So obviously, you can do that. Can I see the patient for care on the same day you do eval? Yes. You can see the patient for care on the same day we do the eval. As you asked before, we build the insurance. So because we build the insurance, is a different tax ID, different MPI, is completely separate from you. So you can see your patient, you can do any care you like for the patient, and we can see them on the same day. So it doesn't interfere at all with the same day if you see your patients. I just want to make sure everybody can see our contact info. I left it here on the screen. So Anya, you can see it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Good. So, you can see this. Please screenshot it or take write it down, and you can reach out to any of these numbers and we'll be able to accommodate you right away, answer any questions you have. Also, you have my email address. So if you want me to send you anything, I can send a copy of the report to you. You can take a look at it as well. What happens if your assessment gets applied to deductible? I do the same thing exactly you do when it gets applied to deductible. So we will call the lawyer and, we'll try to negotiate with them on our fees from the deductible. So it's the same thing. We are in the same boat together. And if we hang up here and finish, feel free to call me. I'm honestly free for the next 2 hours. So if you guys have any questions, just feel free, call me, text me, and I'll be more than happy to chat with you. Thank you very much, everyone.